Hey everybody, Mike Naso here with the latest on the tropics from podweather.com and IPR. Taking a look out there today, we still have Bertha, which is nearing hurricane intensity. It's up to 60 miles an hour and it continues to wrap up. And it looks like over the next several hours it will be increased even more, and it could become a hurricane as early as tomorrow. And you can see it spinning right here in the middle of the central Atlantic. Note this little trophy area to its northeast, kind of still connected up with the storm, maybe helping to vent it a little in certain aspects, but is heading towards an area that is still rather favorable in warmer water, and it could very well become a hurricane, but it looks like the threat to land has decreased, which is great news. Here's the latest on Bertha as of 5 p.m. Eastern. It was at 18.1 north, 47.0 west. And keep in mind that 20 north is about the latitude of the eastern coast of Cuba. 25 north is the latitude of the Miami area, South Florida. And once you get up towards 30, you're near Jacksonville, St. Augustine, South Georgia coastline. So it is getting still a little far south, but it is gaining latitude as it has this west-northwest component at 19, and we'll continue to see that over the next 24, 48, 72 hours. Winds, as I mentioned, are up to 60, and it could become a hurricane by tomorrow, pressure 998 millibars. It is forecast to be a hurricane and move west-northwest and gradually bend more northerly. How large a hurricane, how intense a hurricane, not yet known. Probably not overly intense, but certainly something upwards of 80, 90 miles an hour based on the Hurricane Center forecast looks very possible at this point. Bermuda is now a landmass in the projected cone. It could be impacted by this tropical storm, as will indirectly the East Coast with some higher swells. Even if it were to take the right edge of this cone, you're going to feel some swells along the eastern seaboard of the United States. Now, the visible satellite loop of Bertha as the sun goes down, right in here is the center wrapping up, and you can see where it was initialized. It is moving to the north of its forecast track, and you can see that even better, trying to wrap up an eye feature there as the sun went down, blowing up, wrapping up an eye feature, and getting better organized. So this does look like it is on the way to hurricane intensity, and it would be the first hurricane of the 2008 Atlantic hurricane season. Here is the microwave imagery clearly showing an eye-type feature wrapping up from a few hours ago. Now, as far as the dry air and the Saharan air layer off Africa, I know everybody likes to talk about that. It is still there, but not nearly at the ferocity it was, say, last hurricane season when we had a lot of these light oranges everywhere in this part of the Atlantic. And for July, it's very strange to have seen Bertha continue on this track straight across and keep this moist flow pumping off of Africa. It's been very favorable, and even behind Bertha, a lot of moisture moving off with even more tropical waves and thunderstorm activity. So as Bertha has progressed from here all the way up to here, it's kept a good moist envelope, and that's allowed it to intensify. Visible satellite imagery showed that it got through those cooler waters up here in that stable air pretty well, and it's now, as mentioned, closing in on strong tropical storm, minimal hurricane intensity. Here's the IR. You can see it's kept those thunderstorms over the last few days. Now here's the model guidance, and you can see if it kept moving in the direction it is right now, that would take it generally towards the central Bahamas, the Florida Keys, into the Gulf of Mexico. But fear not, it will begin to move on more of a northwesterly component based on most of the model guidance, generally up in this area. Now, some of the models, you can see the GFS in here, and the BAMs start to bend it more west in 5 days, and this is because they have the trough pulling out and leaving Bertha behind under a ridge. Now, some of the models do have it moving even beyond this latitude of 35 north and slowing down. And something like that could occur if Bertha gets left behind, but it still would be a minimal impact, minimal threat for landfall. It is possible, as we've seen many times, that Bertha could head up this direction and then kind of bend west and then back out to the north and northeast. That is possible. We've seen that many times before. The wind shear with Bertha is pretty low. It's going to be favorable over the next 24, 48, 72 hours. Maybe a little wind shear over the next 48, but then it should be in an area of lower wind shear, it looks like, and it should strengthen. And as the trough pulls in, there's always a chance that a trough will enhance a hurricane's intensity. We saw it in Florida 4 years ago with Hurricane Charlie. Charlie got enhanced because a trough was moving to the north of it, and it pretty much got spun up like a top. And you see that sometimes as the system's pulling away, it will intensify. This could happen, but by that time, it would be moving away from land. But we still have to keep an eye on it. In the final analysis, there's Bertha coming on screen. There is some dry air, but the hurricane, if it becomes a hurricane, which it should, would not be impacted negatively by that. It should move generally in this direction. Bermuda, watch out. It could move a little to your east, a little to your west. It could move right over you. And we just don't know yet at this point how fast it will be moving, what direction, where it will be, and how strong it will be. Pretty much that means we don't know anything about the impact of Bertha on this region of the Atlantic Ocean, but certainly as this troughiness comes in, it should be able to deflect Bertha on a more northerly course. Finally, in the eastern Pacific, we have a weakening tropical depression still causing heavy rainfall on the Mexican coast. It's forecast by the Hurricane Center to continue to move out and weaken. We shouldn't have to have it become a tropical storm, and we won't have to deal with it much longer, it doesn't look like. So that'll do it for this time. I'm Mike Naso from IPR. Stay tuned to podweather.com for more content, as well as Internet Partnership Radio and Weather Watch. We'll see you this week. Stay tuned.